Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Bengals at the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. 5:15 kick on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN+. The Bengals are 5-point favorites. Raiders still awaiting word on the severity of quarterback Aiden O'Connell's knee injury. Head coach Antonio Pierce says if AOC can't go, Desmond Ridder will get the start next Monday against his old team, the Falcons. After a loss last night in LA against the Lakers, the Blazers have dropped 8 of their last 10. NBA Cup quarterfinals tomorrow and Wednesday night, so the Blazers are off until Friday when they host the Spurs. Portland 8-16 on the season, the third worst record in the West, 7th worst in the league, and just percentage points ahead of Philadelphia. Oregon men's basketball remains at number 12 in the latest AP poll, despite falling yesterday to UCLA at Pauley Pavilion. This after a banked-in 3 in the final seconds from Dylan Andrews. Oregon started the season with 9 straight wins. And late last night, ESPN reporting the Mets and outfielder Juan Soto in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract. The deal includes an opt-out after 5 years and no deferred money. If Soto does indeed opt out, the team can void that by adding $4 million annually over the final 10 years, taking the total to $805 million. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon. Hey, we're back.
Hey.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday.
It's a 90% monkey. I can almost do it.
Yeah, you're alive. Dead or alive, Danny Meringue.
Look, I'm feeling like $1 million.
Yelling
right
at
now.
your dog, and you got hurt.
Yep. I invent ways to do stupid things.
Yeah, boy, that was impressive.
Yeah. So, little behind the scenes, it wasn't like I was screaming at my dog, but new to me is doing radio and TV and the podcast all at the same time.
Yeah.
And having that many basketball games and TV shows on top of the radio for such a period of time, I think it just wore out my voice a little bit. And
well, question. You heard it over the weekend, but we weren't doing radio Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of that week.
Yeah. I know. I think it was just at the point.
What's coming? I'll be right there.
I think it was just the point of
yeah,
it was ready to go.
Oh, so it just said later.
Yeah.
Deuces.
I've noticed it. I've talked to you about this a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm just like, it's a little dry. Like it would get done with shows. It was like I could drink a gallon of water and it wouldn't matter. It was just like something wasn't quite right. And it was like 10:30 at night, and my puppy was being a little grumpy, and he didn't gnash at my wife.
A euphemism,
right? A little grumpy puppy, and it's one of those things where I wanted to nip it in the bud immediately.
Okay.
And I went roar like that, just kind of hey, don't do that.
I'm the alpha.
Yeah, basically, but it wasn't anything egregious. I didn't get super loud.
Danny went red panda, but vocal.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
But I felt like something. You know when you do something like that and you kind of feel like a little bit of a scratch, like, oh, I did something weird. And I didn't think anything of it. And I went and did TV the next night because we weren't on, or 2 nights later. And I got to the end of that show. Or no, I did the Blazers game. I got done with the game and I went, oh no. And Tyree was out. So I had to go because otherwise it would have just been Joe, and Joe was not going to do an hour of TV by himself. And I got to the end of that show and I went, oh no, it's gone.
You're dead.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
I went and had it scanned. I came into the show Wednesday and we got to the end and I was like, I don't know, man. Went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, you do have a little bit of a tear. It's not like you had a full tear in your vocal flap, but there's there is some issues. They gave me a shot in my throat.
Yeah, they give you the steroids.
And they gave me that. Then they gave me an
Wait, into your throat?
Yeah, little right here.
Huh.
Yeah, that's about the second worst place I can think to get a shot.
Yeah.
Outside of the eyeball, which my mother has had to go through lately due to eye surgery.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, they did it right above the vocal layer.
That's gross.
Yeah, they do it with an ultrasound.
Okay.
Then they gave me a steroid inhaler, and then they gave me a steroid pill.
Okay.
So I have been on steroids for 5 days.
Danny's all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
He's on roids, bro.
I have so much bleeping energy right now. And then this morning, I got a cortisone shot in my hip.
It's a good thing you got that monster drink in front of you too there.
Yeah. So
Danny's ready to bust through this glass like the Kool-Aid Man.
Dude, I went to bed.
I
went to bed at 4:30 this morning because I can't sleep on this stuff. I am wide awake. Like, I tried to go to bed about 2, and I just stared. Like, you know when you try to fall asleep and you kind of like, oh, I can't really sleep. I'm uncomfortable. I didn't even reach that stage. I was wide bleeping awake at 2:30, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. Went in my office, fired up the Xbox, played some Civ 6, tried to turn my brain off. I looked up
because that will help.
No, it does. It's a great mindless video game to just like get me to just completely like tune out.
For me, that might be like Mario Kart or something.
Why is this making less sense than it did before?
No, I love it. Like it's like I could just click, go, here we go, do this. It becomes repetitive motion kind of a deal, right? I look at the clock. It's 4:30, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to go to bed. And I probably laid there till probably for 15 minutes, and I finally fell asleep. But I was like, I have to get up at 7:45 so I can go to the doctor.
Is there any melatonin in the meringue household?
Oh yeah, it doesn't work though.
No, that's one of the one that actually does work
that stuff
on me
before, and it's like, I don't know if there's any connection between it, but like I took, they gave us Ambien when I was in the Air Force, so like that stuff's nuts.
Yeah, not great.
No, and I won't touch that stuff again because I was getting like hallucinations.
That's all we need.
Oh yeah,
because everything in Newburgh is 2 blocks from Dan.
Exactly. Tripping balls.
Imagine that mushroom cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, not great, Bob. But yeah, I can't do the melatonin. So I tried the NyQuil cocktail, and maybe that's what eventually. There's actually a NyQuil that's actually made for sleeping. It's non-addictive.
Yeah, ZQL.
Yeah. So there's some of that in the house. So I took that to the dome at 4:30.
You don't think of doing that at like 11?
I forgot we had it in the house, to be honest.
I think there are even a couple different formulas of ZQL too, containing various like natural ingredients and such. Whether it's lavender or I don't remember them now at this point, but I remember standing in line waiting at the Walgreens for a prescription and noticing, oh wow, there's a lot of different ones of these.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Thank you for text line. Perhaps some melatonin gummies instead of Xbox. I opted for other gummies this weekend. Okay. Those did not work either. There's no.
Well, those ones help you wake up in a super fog.
Yeah. Well, look, man.
I've heard.
When I can't sleep or the hips bothering me, that is the path that I go down instead of chewing up Vicodin like Skittles. Like that's
okay. Better alternative.
Yeah. But no, the combination of the steroid shot, the steroid inhaler, and the steroid pill, and then also now getting the steroid shot in my hip today, I am at 120%. Like I cannot. Like I can feel it in my my teeth are chattering. I cannot remember the last time I had this much. And I guess I can. I was 22, maybe 23 years old overseas and doing actual steroids.
Wow.
Like peaking. The RPMs have not dropped.
Wow.
I'm running on 2.5, 3 hours of sleep, and I could not have more energy right now. It's not even like the lucid runoff of being sleepless.
Right.
It is just pure unadulterated drugs running in my blood right now.
That's something, man.
It is the running of the bulls.
That is something.
Bro.
Whoa.
Yeah. I cannot calm down right now. I'm going to crash, and it's going to be epic, and I'm hoping it's on a 6-hour flight to D.C.
Yeah. Hey, we are going to Washington, D.C. this week.
Yeah.
We leave on Thursday. Danny and I will be broadcasting live from Radio Row in Washington, D.C. for the USAA Army-Navy game. coming up this weekend. There's one game in college football this weekend. It is Army-Navy.
I didn't realize it's the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you have the FCS playoffs as well. But of FBS football, it is a standalone game. They do it after the college football playoff has been announced. And we will be Washington, D.C. bound. And I'll tell you, we just got an email for the Radio Row guest lineup.
Ooh.
Holy shnikes.
Well, now here's what I want to know.
Whoa.
Because I've been seeing all these USAA ads on TV, and they feature two prominent individuals.
Not on the
One
list.
being a Rob Gronkowski, and the other being
Chateaubriand.
Yeah. Yeah. Though they are not on the list as of yet.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But this list is
Loaded.
Ridiculous.
We're all just grist for the mill.
Look, if we
We
see
are.
Sam Elliott, we will ceremoniously flag him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will tell him we are from Oregon.
Yes.
Well, I don't care.
You
Just
owe
one
it
of
to
one
us.
of you lie and tell them that you're a David Douglas alum, and
I will not lie to Sam Elliott.
Look, I will pack my Stetson hat for this particular endeavor and be like, I will like wave it in the air like I am in Tombstone.
Yeah.
Just to try to draw his attention.
Yeah.
Beef brisket.
I'm actually kind of disappointed. I shouldn't have shaved the mustache. I should have kept it, and I could have signaled to him across the room. Mustache?
yeah.
Cowboy
Well,
hat?
like I said, see, we all should have worked on our own version of the old Jeff Skunk Baxter from the Yacht Rock doc.
I am not.
He'd be impressed with that one.
I'm also not going to try,
Or Lloyd
and-
from Yellowstone.
and I'm not going to try and mustache flex on Sam Elliott either. Both of those failing endeavors, guys.
I feel like I could get
I
close.
will not lie. I will not mustache compete with Sam Elliott.
I feel like I could get close
All right.
on the mustache flex.
Okay.
I
All
just
right.
need the proper amount of time.
But we're going to Army Navy this weekend, so that's going to be an awesome time, and I can't wait for it. I'm excited for it. I am. Look, my allegiances I can be bid on. Right now, I'm leaning Army. I have because grandfather's in the Army, but also I'm leaning Army because of former players who I have coached. I let it up to them, and they said, go Army. A couple of them said, F them both, go Air Force, which you can appreciate.
Indeed. And I have my Air Force gear that I will be wearing on the sideline.
That is not going to go well.
Double bird to both of them.
Yeah.
It's going to go full on Elaine Bennis in an Orioles hat.
And I will be like, hey, just say something loud at him. He won't be able to yell back at you.
He can talk, but he can't yell.
And guess what? You'll probably be able to outrun him.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going upstairs.
So,
Although the cortisone shot, I can move now.
look, I'll stand behind you in a lot of fights. This is one where there's gonna be trained military men. I'm gonna have to sit this one out, and I'll just be like, yeah, he's on his own here.
Yeah, no.
He's on his own here. So I'm up for bidding though, Army or Navy. We'll see. We'll see where we go. We'll see where we go.
This is going to
from
be
there.
such an epic trip.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
This is a bucket list trip for me to go to Army Navy. I'm
Army
excited for it.
Army is an absolute unit.
Yeah.
Dog walk Tulane.
Yeah, it's just too bad you guys couldn't convince USAA to take along your awesome producer with
know.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah,
No, you're not.
I am.
I am.
I am.
This is the kind of
I am
thing
sorry.
everybody should check out.
Don't pee on my shoes and tell me it's raining.
Yeah. We got a lot that we need to get to today though.
So much.
Because
what a weekend.
Yeah.
What a weekend,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It was wild. And
The conference championship weekend, was that one of the best conference championship weekends we've ever had?
mm,
Three
I
of the
mean, they're-
four were absolutely incredible coming
it
down to the last
finished
drive.
with a bang. Boy, was it a stinker to start though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a stinker to start. That Boise State UNLV game, the Ashton Genty highlight show.
Holy.
You
Heisman?
had Arizona State just beating the bejeebers out of Iowa State. That game was 45-10 in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Can
Can we talk about real quick your Oregon Duck on Pat McAfee going to bat for Ashton Genty?
Yeah, and people getting really upset, including Deion Sanders Jr. Deion Sanders Jr. is like, oh, what? Well, y'all whooped our ass. Come on. It's like,
That too?
dude, it's a duck that does not talk.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you're picking a fight with a mascot.
putting up, does work with a signboard.
What are
Look,
we doing?
I want to know, does he have a writer?
They have a pretty big creative team.
That's
I
what I'm
don't know
saying.
if
Like,
you've seen this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, it sounds like I'm pretty sure they got a PR team, but from the sounds of things, it's not a very good one.
no, I'm talking the Ducks.
No, the Duck.
Oh, I
yeah,
was talking about
yeah.
Sanders.
No.
No.
The Ducks got like is Ian Carmel? Is that what he's doing in his free time now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he went on McAfee and he was just dropping bombs.
It's something. Look, in all honesty, it may just be one of McAfee's dudes in that suit when he goes on the Pat McAfee show.
Just in the suit, yeah.
I have no idea. Like,
is that PFT commenter in there?
They fire off some shots on there.
Was it the Ducks' head that fell off this year?
It has fallen off
this year,
a couple of times.
Like, didn't he trip and it went backwards?
Colorado, it fell off last year.
That's what it was.
This
I
year,
think it was last season. Yeah.
This year, it maybe the Boise State game.
Yes, it was he tripped coming out.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Maybe.
And the head went on backwards. I remember that now. It was like somebody when you kill a duck, you spin
Look,
its
it
head
happens.
Around. No,
it's the mascot.
Yeah.
That's a mascot world.
Well, that's a 15-yard face mask penalty.
Yeah, when the
I'll tell
head
you what,
spins
when
around.
the head turns.
Yeah.
When the head turns.
Throw the flag.
But it was a great weekend of conference championship. Yeah, it ended with a bang. The last 3 games of conference championship weekend gave all the drama and all the intrigue that we could ask for, including the Oregon Ducks going 13-0 through Big Ten play. 10 straight wins in conference play. Yowzers. That was a doozy there. And that's got to be where we start. We'll talk about the college football playoff. Alabama in tears, the entire state right now. You've got the seeding is of great controversy right now with the way that the 4 seeds that got buys and the way the bracket is set up. We'll talk about all of that. We also had an incredible weekend of NFL football too, because here come the Kansas City Chiefs doinking their way to wins yet again. You have the Buffalo Bills falling in tremendous fashion in LA to the Rams. What a weekend. And then you have some infighting now in Philly. All of a sudden, in a win over the Carolina Panthers, not that bad. They played 3 straight games, really tough teams. The Chiefs, the Buccaneers, and the Eagles. They play them down to the wire. Explain that.
Can't.
Explain that. Yeah, I cannot.
Yeah. So we got a ton that we need to get to, but where we got to start this bad boy off, the Oregon Ducks do it. Perfection in the first year in the Big Ten. And it didn't have to be pretty. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. The Oregon Ducks are Big Ten champions. What a game that was on Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. 45-37. Not the low-scoring defensive affair that we thought it would be, but an incredible game nonetheless. That game was two really good football teams just throwing haymakers back and forth for 60 minutes. That was a hell of a game, man.
It was a hell of a game, and it ultimately went the way that I thought it was going to go. The 3.5 point line, I never got it. And I know it got back down to one score. It's just Oregon came out of the gate quick, fast, and in a hurry. And yeah, Penn State responded. Everything that came along with that. But as close, air quotes, as that was, as well as Penn State played at points, it never felt like it was out of Oregon's grasp. It never felt that way to me.
No, they were in control. That is for sure. I mean, they did. When you look at balance, which is, we talked about this heading into the game, balance offensively, the ability to run the ball and throw the ball, it opens everything up for Oregon's offense. And the way that Oregon came out by going on that opening drive, and it's kind of one of those sliding doors effects of Penn State wins the toss, they defer to the second half. You know what? Does that the play and style of the game change a little bit if Penn State is on the field first as opposed to Oregon, right? Because Oregon came out and that was a tone-setting drive right out of the gate. Your first 4 plays are run plays. They go into the heart, in the teeth of Penn State's vaunted defense, which has been really good and is a good defense. And they run between the tackles really effectively. First play, Jordan James goes 9 yards, right? Then you're sitting there, boom, boom, boom. They're marching. You're going, okay, we see where Oregon is going to have this plan in their attack. They ran it right down their throats. And then you exclamation point it with the Kenyon Sadiq after run play, run play, run play. 6 of the 9 plays on that drive were runs. And Sadiq misses on his assignment on a run play right before the very next play. They leak him out. Boom. Hurdles a dude.
Yeah.
Insane play. Great trail leg. Finished, drove the knee through, got his leg vertical or horizontal, and didn't miss stride when it goes right in the end zone. And it was like, okay, this Oregon offense is going to be on one today.
Yeah. There was a couple different things that I thought were interesting about the game. Nothing Oregon did got slowed down. Nothing they did really got slowed down. Now,
yeah.
Look, I mean, you're going to have your things that I know where you're going to go with this. They scored 45 points, Dusty.
45 points.
How many? What's the most points they've scored this season?
49.
Okay.
The week before.
Okay.
Yeah, their offense is humming. That Tez Johnson.
And that's where I was going to get to.
Pretty good.
They had zero answer for Tez.
Yeah.
Like the other guys, supporting guys, the tight ends, Ferguson and Sadiq, big time plays, huge in the game. It was all Tez all the time, baby. And that one guy broke them. He broke everything that Penn State wanted to do. They couldn't because of Tez.
And I think a lot of that, though, started with the way that imprint in that first drive, that tone-setting drive, because the beauty of where Tez gets open, right? And just think of his touchdown catch, right, where they have a quick play fake and Dylan Gabriel goes out on a quarter roll, which unbelievable game from Dylan Gabriel, where on that Tez Johnson touchdown, Abdul Carter, the best pass rusher in the country, one of, if not the best pass rushers in the country, is one-on-one unblocked with Dylan Gabriel, and he gets put in this, is he going to run or is he going to throw? And Dylan Gabriel does a little slide step back, creates a little bit of space, keeps his eyes downfield, and finds Tez Johnson. That play doesn't work unless you have the ability to run the ball between the tackles. And you're keeping linebackers honest, because there was nobody, and I mean nobody, within striking distance of Tez Johnson in that. In the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And he tripped, 3 times on that play and still went untouched into the end zone. Running the ball opens up so much for them, but you're right. The way that they use Tez, his, as I've been calling it, his gravity throughout the course of a game, it's where linebackers, safeties, corners all have to have the attention on him. That guy is special, and he was special in that game, but all of the playmakers in Oregon's offense, they were humming. The 4th down catch by Terrence Ferguson was amazing. I mean, that was a big-time play. He had a couple big-time catches. The 2 touchdowns from Kenyon Sadiq. Guy doesn't score a touchdown all year and becomes the first tight end to score 2 touchdowns in the Big Ten championship game ever. That's okay.
Yeah, Tez Johnson, did he set a Big Ten record?
11 for 181.
Yeah.
Was that a record?
Yes.
That was a record?
Yes.
All right, good for him.
So,
yeah, pretty good. MVP.
Yeah.
MVP day.
Look.
But I will say they did get bogged down when they started the run game outside the tackles, and we saw kind of a little bit of a lull where, Will Stein was like, all right, we've softened it up inside. Can we get to the outside? The edges were not Oregon's friend, whether it's in the screen game and you try to do that because of the fact you're having so much success inside, they're going to start collapsing inside and working inside out. The screen game was ineffective. The outside run game was largely ineffective for Oregon. Their bread was buttered in between the tackles running the ball and then getting the ball to playmakers and making big plays when it mattered. And look, you're right. 45 points. There's nothing to worry about offensively with the way Oregon's playing right now. They look healthy. They look good. You saw offensive line rotation now with Marcus Harper back, and the offense is at a clip that, I mean, that's championship level offense that they're playing right now. The other side of that is where the defense struggled. And I think we got to give Penn State a ton of credit, and we will next, because the defense gets 37 put up on them. And on top of that, 500 yards, including 3 hundo on the ground. Where it went wrong for Oregon and what ultimately went right for the Ducks on the defensive side of the football. We'll get to that after Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge, online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It is hard to stop a train. First on The Fan, Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Bengals at the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, 5:15 kick on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN+. The Bengals are 4.5-point favorites. Panthers rookie running back Jonathan Brooks retore his right ACL yesterday against the Eagles and will have surgery. It's the same as ACL he tore 13 months ago while at Texas. Saints quarterback Derek Carr reportedly suffered a significant fracture in his non-throwing hand and is likely out for the season. ESPN reporting talks between UNC and Bill Belichick ongoing regarding their head coaching vacancy. A decision either way is expected at some point this week after leading the Green Wave to an American Athletic Championship game in his first season in New Orleans, and his name popping up for other coaching vacancies. Tulane and John Summerall have agreed to an extension. After a loss last night in LA against the Lakers, the Blazers have dropped 8 of their last 10. NBA Cup quarterfinals Tuesday and Wednesday nights. The Blazers now off until Friday, when they host the Spurs. Portland 8-16 on the season, the 3rd worst record in the West and 7th worst in the league, just percentage points ahead of Philadelphia. And ESPN reporting the Dodgers and former Beeve outfielder Michael Conforto have agreed to a 1-year, $17 million deal after missing out on Juan Soto. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Penn State's offense put up a fight, man, in that Big Ten championship game. Boy, that was clinical, the way they ran the football in that game.
Yeah, 9 yards of carry is pretty damn good, Dusty.
Yeah.
Look, if there's anything that's got my eyebrow up, it is that the two teams that have had the elite running backs and offensive lines that are together, Boise State and Penn State, because Ohio State's offensive line got banged up in that game, obviously, they have been effective. Now, a big part of that is both those teams have very good running backs. Ashton Jeanty being the best in the country with not as good of an offensive line, where Penn State has a stable of really good offensive running or of running backs, but a offensive line that is, and we knew going to the game, was full of maulers.
Yeah. I mean, it was something that we really we haven't seen in quite some time. Oregon's defense get gashed like that. And I think one thing that was wildly impressive is we knew that Penn State, they're a Big Ten team. They are big. They are physical up front.
Look, they put guys in the NFL every year.
The speed of their offensive line and their ability to work double team up to the next level, it was different in the Big Ten championship game. And
that's not a guy that they had last year in Olu Fushana, who was probably the best in the country at that.
Yeah. Their interior offensive line, their guards, Ione, who had the personal foul in the game, and he was playing with an edge all night long. Their guards did a really good job of helping the center and then just getting off him. It was like almost instantaneously.
Chip and go.
It was double team to the second level. Linebackers were gone, because that's one of the things that, and I know Penn State fans are up in arms about, they're holding. I thought the officials did a really good job of taking the game out of their hands and into the players' hands. Because one thing that Oregon has been really good at, especially when you have kind of that zone scheme, is you will have the ends and the edges have done a really good job of crashing down and eliminating cutback lanes. Both offensive lines were getting really handsy. They were getting really handsy on the outside. And whether it was Jordan Birch or Mateo Uyunglele or any of the linebackers who had to come up, set edge, and fill, they weren't getting there to collapse down.
No.
And that was obviously a huge issue. And Nick Singleton, we talked about him last week. Nicholas Singleton has been a guy who has been progressing up as the season has gone on. And he was playing at a really high level. So Katron Allen was their thunderback, right?
Yeah.
He is the power back. When he has lanes to run through like that,
he ain't
obviously
slow.
He is going to have a lot of success. And that was obviously there is concern there. They ran the ball really damn well. But they ended up making plays when it mattered the most. And that was the thing where you win the turnover battle, you are going to put yourself in a really good chance. I said going into this, getting Penn State to third and long was key. They weren't in third and long, and you saw how successful they were. And it was because they ran the ball really well. I think that formationally, motions, there was so much attention paid to Tyler Warren, their tight end.
Rightfully so.
He is really damn good. He had some massive drops in that game that turned the game on its head, though. They were using him, and they were running him ragged. I think that played a big role late in the game, especially. They had to call a timeout because they had a pop play. They moved him across the formation. They tried to throw a jump ball to him in the end zone, and he did not have the legs to go up and get it. And he was coming out of the game, and it was a third down. And Penn State had to burn a timeout earlier than they wanted to because they ran him ragged because Oregon was focusing so much on where he was lined up, and it is hard when he is lined up at outside wide receiver, in the slot, hand in the ground tight end, in the backfield as a running back, in the backfield as a quarterback. They moved him everywhere. And it put Oregon in a lot of conflict. And there were communication errors. I mean, that was a big part of it. When you're having to flip your safeties and flip your interior linebackers based on where Tyler Warren is going, and they're going with tempo, that put Oregon in a lot of conflict. And they caught Oregon more than a few times doing that. And I think that was largely to massive success in chunk plays. But it also was to the detriment of Penn State because he was unable at the end of the game to play the way that we've seen Tyler Warren play. They ran him all over the field. He was flipping sides of the formation every single play.
When you basically run 75 plays.
Yep.
When you're used to being at 55. being Big Ten and grinding it out. Drew Aller throwing the ball 39 times.
Andy Kotelnicki had a phenomenal game plan. They schemed, and look, Drew Aller he threw 2 picks that's where the game ended. And one was to Dante Manning, where Dante Manning didn't give up on a ball where he was beat inside, and he got his head around, and it was like, little bit behind the receiver there, picks it off, gets it to the 1-yard line. And then the last one was to Nico Reed.
Comically bad.
That was not a good throw by Drew Aller, and that was a shot I don't think they needed to take right there.
They had all the time in the world.
And Nico Reed made a play and sealed the game on it. The quarterback was an advantage for Oregon heading into it, and it wasn't even close. That played out during the game.
Look, I've said my piece on Drew Aller. He was better than I anticipated. And yes, he did have some drops.
He had a lot of drops, man.
But he completed 50% of his passes.
Yep.
And you're not talking about 15 drops. You know what I mean? Like, they had drops.
Warren had like 3.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There were drops, and it would have made him look a lot better. There's no doubt about it, including what likely would have been a touchdown to Warren. But he still Drew Allard.
He did.
He Drew Allard. He just all the way down his leg. That interception, 2 minutes to go. You've got time. You've got timeouts. You've got decent field position. You're good.
Can't have it.
You cannot throw that ball there.
No.
And it's not like he had all the pressure in the world and everything's hanging in the balance. You can eat that. Even if you can't throw it away, you can eat that. You know you're going 4 downs.
Yeah.
Now you shouldn't, but you can. That throw, the second he threw it up, it was whack, 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 whack. There's nothing to it outside the numbers, far sideline. Everything about it was just like, what are you doing? If you're
not good, Bob.
If you're gonna make that throw, overthrow him.
Mm-hmm. Put it into row 6.
Overthrow him. You can't try to loft a back shoulder in. Like, what the hell is that? Lofting a back shoulder to the opposite numbers? Bro, you better be Josh freaking Allen.
Oregon will take it. Oregon will take it.
No, look.
They'll take it.
Everybody knows where I stand on the Ducks. Not only was this a great game, a great win, this is an unbelievable freaking season for that team.
Yeah.
I said it on Twitter. I'll say it here. Hell of a season, Ducks. If you're a Duck fan, enjoy this. You went into a new conference with all the questions and, the Big Ten's going to do this, and you went in and got stamped. You stomped on everybody. You handled business. You went to the Big Ten title game, and even though you only won by a touchdown, you beat the crap out of everybody other than Wisconsin.
Yeah. They did.
You handle business. Now, in Ohio State, that's it. You went in there and you handle business, and you give your hat tips to Penn State and No, they're always the bridesmaid.
Yeah.
The same issues that plague Penn State every single freaking year plague them yet again. Oh my God, they have a great offensive and defensive line. No way. Oh my God, they have a great secondary. Oh my God, that's shocking. Great running backs. Hey, have they ever had a Heisman Trophy winner back there?
They have.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Their quarterback play came back to bite them in the butt along with some poor coaching? No way.
Yeah.
No freaking way.
Not great, Bob.
It's the same things with them. And so it's like, in Oregon, and to Dan Lanning's credit, they stayed true to who they are, who they've been, with the aggressiveness over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And look, did it bite them in the ass against Washington last year? Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it did. But over 13 games this year, you know what it did? It balanced back out.
Yep.
Because you stay true to who you are the whole season, and now you've got an opportunity to set yourself up for a national title.
Yep. This Oregon team has played really stinking well. And if you look at, they don't have to be pretty, you got to win in a variety of ways. 13-0 is pretty impressive. And look, you mentioned this in the fact that, look, Oregon felt like they were in control. They were leading by 2 scores for over a quarter of the game.
They were in control the whole game.
Did it get closer? Yep. Did Penn State chase points a little early when they're down 2 scores? Look, if you're down 2 scores, going for 2, that is something that analytically, you go and you do it. I felt at the time it was a little bit too early to go for that. Yeah. Usually you see that about the 8-minute mark, right? That was early in the game that they said, nope, we're going to try to make this thing a 1-score game where and the idea behind it is you're down 14, you go for 2 because you convert on about 50% of your 2-point conversions. So you go for 2 because you're playing to win.
Yeah.
And James Franklin was playing to win. There were a lot of things
But
that
that's
James
not
Franklin,
who they are.
There's a lot of things. Well, they got way too cute with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have run the ball right up the middle, right? You're on the 3-yard line. Instead, they do the reverse, like Philly special with Tyler Warren going to throw the football, and Oregon played it really well, and they made a play on that, and he tripped, but they were in position to hem him up. And that's why he
Chasing
slipped.
points and getting cute is not what Penn State does.
Yeah, and I thought James Franklin at the end, his press conference where he dropped the penalties. Come on, the officials in that game,
They let guys play.
they did not call a lot of penalties. There were 5 penalties called on Penn State for 65 yards. Okay, there were 3 penalties called against Oregon. Okay, for 24 yards.
So +2.
Okay, +2. The personal fouls against Penn State were 2 personal fouls and 2 face masks. 4 of the 5 penalties were because guys'
Stupid conduct.
heads got turned. Your offensive tackle slammed, or your offensive guard slammed a dude's head in the ground well after the play.
And you're lucky he didn't get the heave-ho.
And then you had the other personal foul was on a kickoff where it was a late shot after the play was over by one of your guys. That's not.
So you're not calling the holdings on the edge. The PIs weren't being thrown. Like,
was there holding that Oregon did? Yeah. There was 2 for Penn State.
Yeah.
And I thought it was good. Outside of that, Oregon got a personal foul because Derek Harmon got his revenge on Ione, the guard, which that backed up. That's a bad penalty for Oregon to commit right there. A pass interference, which was justified, and there was a lot of contact. That was excessive contact.
They let guys maul each other.
And Oregon got a delay of game, and they got a false start. I have no issue. So they let the players play.
2 procedural penalties in the entire game. And
there's
4 of
there's
their
5
5
penalties.
There's 3
were
different times where I thought
fouls.
there was false starts you could have called for both sides. And I went, both tackles on the edges,
that was something.
both right tackles got an early start multiple times.
Yeah.
And I went, just letting that go today.
Letting it go. I'm fine with it.
Look, if you're going to let it go, let it go. Let them. If both tackles want to take that big kick back and you're going to let it ride for both teams, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
There also was the celebrating in where James Franklin said this is JV. I don't have a problem with Oregon celebrating, but this is JV. I will say that the argument that he has there, the setup was not great and conducive to them having that press conference, because I think what people missed is that where the press conference was being held was not in a normal press room, and that's what he was talking about. And Oregon's band was separated from that press conference by a curtain. So when you could hear the fight song being played, the staging area for the bands, that's what he was talking about there. He actually, I can defend James Franklin on that one a little bit, because that was not a situation where I would probably be happy with it either, just because of the way that it was set up. He wasn't talking about Oregon's on-field celebration with the confetti and all that stuff. That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about the fact that the band, their staging area was right behind a curtain from where Penn State was doing their press, so they could hear everything.
That big, thick, heavy curtain. I will say, if you haven't seen
that,
the
wasn't
video,
good. That wasn't good.
Still, if you haven't seen the video, it's very funny, because it's one of those giant, 40-foot tall curtains, and then that's it. And there's a huge stage that he's on. Right? It's like That's the only. It looks like a bit out of
it looked like he was
Arrested Development.
Well, he looks like he is Key and Peele.
Yeah,
it looked like it was
that's exactly Michael Key.
Yeah, it was like a Key and Peele sketch, and he does look like Key.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it was not good for him. So I do want to give him a little bit of you get a pass on that one. The penalties thing, that's ridiculous.
Come on, dude.
That's ridiculous, because it wasn't like it was overly one-sided. That game, that was a good football game. A little bit of history in what Oregon did, though, and then we'll get into the college football playoff. This is Danny and Dusty on the Fan. All right, Oregon made a little history in becoming Big Ten champs.
Go on.
Now, how significant is it that they win in the first year of being in the conference?
I would say that probably doesn't happen all that often.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Although 2 former Pac-10 teams
Except for
just
this
did.
year. Except for this year, most, other places and stuff. But
Hey,
yeah.
Pac-12, big come up for the Pac-12. A lot of respect putting on the Pac-12's name.
And SMU.
And the AAC with SMU, yeah. But when Oregon goes 13-0 in their first year in the Big Ten, undefeated 10-0 in conference play. I saw this during the pregame. They popped up that the only teams to go unbeaten in their first year in the Big Ten, 1993 Penn State, and then I can't remember what year it was, but it was Chicago went 10-0 in their first year in the Big Ten as well. That's like 1910, University of Chicago. Those 2 teams coached by Joe Paterno and Amos Alonzo Stagg.
I thought you were going to say they were both coached by Joe Paterno.
No, yeah, right? You guys know about Amos Alonzo Stagg? Do you know who that is?
No.
I mean, I am familiar with the name, but I could not go deep in on the biography.
Dude, this guy, I'm going to read you a list of things that he is credited for in the game of football, his innovations. Okay? The reverse play, the first indoor football game, first book with football diagrams. That would be called a playbook. He invented the playbook. He had the first intersectional game, so non-conference game.
I like intersectional better.
He created the center snap, the onside kick, the huddle, the quick snap or the quick punt, the spiral snap, the line shift, the lateral pass, the tackling dummy, the varsity letter for when you play on a team and you get a varsity letter, the first person to put numbers on a uniform.
You know, this tells me this guy did a lot of drugs.
The T formation, the forward pass, the man in motion, the quarterback keeper, buck sweep, thigh pads, hip pads, padded goalposts. He's the guy that said, you know what, we should probably put some padding on that thing.
Where's the fun in that?
So people quit dying when they run into that metal.
So much more fun, though.
And the numbering of plays.
So he invented football as we know it.
Yep, that would be it, Bob.
Yeah.
That would be it, Bob.
A lot of drugs. You know,
Yeah.
what do they call what's the stuff they used to take in the West? Laudanum?
Yeah.
Feels like he probably had a lot of that.
I would say so.
Like
I would say so.
Like, if you ever tried it,
Is that what got Wyatt Earp's wife back in the day? Yeah.
It's opium based, if I remember right.
Sure, I'm guessing it's probably something pretty heavy.
Yeah,
yes.
if I remember right, it's opium based. But like, if you ever tried to explain American football to somebody who has no idea how American football works,
yeah, you can blame Amos Alonzo Stagg for that.
and again,
why is it so confusing?
A lot of drugs necessary to be like, yeah, but it's football played with your hands, and the ball's oblong. It's like you just start going down the things like
just don't worry about
nonsensical,
it.
And you just start to realize, when we were talking about cocaine as a medical substance, and opium as like a medical substance where you just drank it straight out of a bottle, probably led to some stuff. Which, I mean, again, that time period gave us football, gave us basketball, gave us baseball.
Sure,
I'm just saying,
yeah, all those drugs.
Mild coincidence, perhaps. Mild coincidence?
I think not. But yeah, pretty rarefied air right there. And then Oregon became the second team in Big Ten history to beat Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State in the same season.
Sorry, just one quick flashback to the old Amos Alonzo Stagg there.
Yeah.
He invented the center snap. How are they snapping before?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right.
Unbalanced?
I mean,
I don't know. Like flag football where they're kind of like
snapping it
turning.
by the wide receiver, but that was also before the forward pass.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
All right.
He was quite the guy, though. Also in that, they became the first team ever because the only other team to beat the big three of the Big Ten was Michigan State in 2015. So you add Michigan State to that. They're the only team to beat all of those schools in the same year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. No,
when you think of that.
It is a hell of a everybody knows where I stand in Oregon. This was a hell of a year for the Ducks. a hell of a year for the Ducks. And by every measure, it's been fantastic. Do not gack on this.
Oh, wow.
Do not. Please. You know what I said to you off air last week. Go handle business. Go win a freaking title. Go do it. You have an opportunity.
Yep.
It doesn't, if they don't win a title, it doesn't disqualify what this season has been. This season has been
pretty damn impressive.
Impressive as hell. And adding the additional games of the CFP is going to be an interesting test, not just for Oregon, but for everybody. The variance that allows for is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Arizona State could end up winning a national title.
They very well could.
Like, that's how insane this is, okay? Very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely. But the New York Giants went from a wild card and knocked off the undefeated best team in NFL.
Yeah, they sure could, Bob.
My point being, this has been a historic year for them so far. They have a chance to have this be an absolutely perfect year.
Yeah.
And you handle everything that's in front of you every step of the way. And I think we'll talk about it a little bit later. Lanning and Johnson going into the fourth quarter, some of the coolest things I think I've heard coming out of this all season.
Yeah, it really was. And let's get to the college football playoff, though, the bracket. The stage is set, and it is not the easiest road that the Oregon Ducks got, but they are the number one overall seed, and the state of Alabama is melting down. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Bengals at the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, 5:15 kick on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN+. The Bengals are 4.5-point favorites. Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell apparently suffered a significant bone bruise to his left knee, tests revealed. This according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. O'Connell reportedly would like to play in their next game on it's Monday Night Football next week against the Falcons, but they're not quite sure yet of his availability. If he can't go, it would be Desmond Ridder in his stead. After a loss last night in LA against the Lakers, the Blazers have dropped 8 of their last 10 NBA Cup quarterfinals. Tuesday and Wednesday night, the Blazers now off until Friday when they host the Spurs. Portland 8-16 on the season, the 3rd worst record in the West, 7th worst in the league, and just percentage points ahead of Philadelphia. Oregon men's basketball remaining at number 12 in the latest AP poll, despite falling yesterday to UCLA on a banked-in 3 in the final seconds from Dylan Andrews. Oregon started the season with 9 straight wins. And late last night, ESPN reporting the Mets and outfielder Juan Soto in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract. The deal includes an opt-out after 5 years and no deferred money, but if Soto does opt out, the team can void that by adding $4 million annually over the final 10 years, taking the total to $805 million. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Danny and Dusty.
My Uncle Gus is the uncle that likes to work the grill. As soon as he walk in the house, he's like, get away from that grill. You don't know how to start no fire.
With the latest on the Blazers, Ducks, Beavers, and the hottest topics in sports.
We're going to eat a hamburger, okay? Here we go. Chandler, throw the mat. Now that's a fire.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
I'm not cooking them brontosaurus burger.
The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Monday afternoon. Thank you for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. As we now have the state of Alabama is burning. Oh,
No,
boy.
it was already on fire.
Golly. They are big
That
mad.
one darn tree again?
No, they poisoned that.
Oh, okay.
They are big mad in SEC land over the SMU Mustangs getting in as the 11 seed in the college football playoff. The 12 teams in the playoff are as follows. Getting first round buys, your top 4. The Oregon Ducks will go to the Rose Bowl. The number 2 seed is the Georgia Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl. The 3rd seed is the Boise State Broncos going to the Fiesta Bowl. It's a party. The Peach Bowl will have 4th seeded and Big 12 champs Arizona State. So the side of the bracket that Oregon is on will feature Arizona State as a potential semifinal matchup, while Boise State and Georgia are on the bottom side of the bracket. The 5th seed is the Texas Longhorns, losers of the SEC championship game in overtime.
Speaking of gacking it away.
Penn State is the 6th seed, as they do not really drop at all.
I was shocked they got 6.
Were you?
Yeah.
Who do you think should have been there? I mean, the way they played.
I know. I'm still surprised just because, again, maybe it's my Penn State bias that I don't think they're that good. There's just.
Would you have rather had the 7 seed Notre Dame be there?
No, and that's the thing is where they put Notre Dame. I would have put Notre Dame much further back. I would have put SMU above Notre Dame.
Whoa. Really?
I don't think Notre Dame's that good. I really don't.
I mean, they have been really impressive. They've lost one game where you look at it and you say, they shouldn't have lost that game. Seems to be the story around college football.
Sure.
They are the 7 seed. The 8 seed is Ohio State, which they've got their injury issues.
Yeah, and Michigan
beat them.
Mauled them.
9 seed is Tennessee, so the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee will play Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That game will be on the 21st of December. We'll get into that because sign me up. We are going to have cold weather games because Notre Dame is playing Indiana, an in-state rivalry there in South Bend, Indiana.
The crazy one there is, did you see the stat on this? It is the first time Notre Dame will appear on another network other than NBC since 1991.
That's crazy.
Because even their bowl games have been owned by NBC, but because it's the CFP.
Wait, really? Well,
yes.
no, they played in like Fiesta Bowls.
they had the rights to that game.
NBC?
They
I thought
this is the first time they have appeared on national TV outside of NBC since 1991.
Wow. That's crazy.
I was blown away by that. I'm like, there's no freaking way. And lo and behold.
Weird.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting
Didn't
spot
they
for
make the college football playoff one year? No?
No.
Weird. All right.
Wasn't there even like a game or two this
Is
season,
this
like on CBS or something?
Look, this was straight from their press junket, man.
Huh.
I was like, huh?
Wow.
1991.
Because I feel like I remember.
Or is it for a home game? Maybe is that
maybe
a home
maybe
game?
there might have been that stipulation.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no way they.
Yeah,
played
you're right.
bowl
You're right.
games. It's got to be a home game.
Yeah, it must be in a home game.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, there's no way. There's no way that. Okay. So yeah, for a home game, I believe it. But that game will be on ABC.
Yes, you're right. It is.
Okay,
It is Notre Dame home game.
All right.
My mistake.
The 11 seed is SMU. They'll play Penn State for a chance to play Boise State. So Notre Dame, Indiana will go on to play Georgia. Penn State, SMU winner will go on to play Boise State. Meanwhile, Texas will play Clemson in a 5-12 matchup to go play Arizona State.
Is there any game in there that you're really interested in other than Tennessee, Ohio State?
Yes, Notre Dame, Indiana. I am really interested in Notre Dame, Indiana. I'm actually really interested in Texas and Clemson too. Because, first of all, I want to see Texas beat a team that is a
Good
top
team.
25
Yeah.
team. I mean, everybody is sitting there and saying, Indiana, how dare they? Well, they don't have a win over a top 25 team. Neither does Texas.
No.
Texas doesn't either.
And when you talk about game control, Indiana's been one of the best in the country at it.
They've been housing teams.
Well, I feel like that is an interesting game to watch. Do we feel like that the outcome of that game really has much of a bearing on the rest of the bracket and the way that the rest of it carries out?
Texas, Clemson, or
no, Notre Dame, Indiana. Excuse me.
I don't think so because look, Georgia with Carson Beck having his UCL injury, I don't know what to make of Georgia.
Bro, his arm.
That was gnarly.
They put him back out there on that field to just give a snap, and it's like, do you not have a third quarterback?
Yeah,
like,
that was.
If he gets hit there,
wild.
Like let's just say, like
they're not kicking a game winner. That's
look,
for sure.
I'm just. You watched Beck walk out to the field holding his arm pinned against his body. We'll talk about the game here in a minute. But if you're in Texas, why isn't that an Engage 11?
Yeah, well,
like I don't understand that.
But
I don't.
They end up pulling out a win. And now he's going to, it looks like he's on Tommy John watch with a UCL injury.
Yeah, he's not playing in that game.
No, he may not be playing for a year. But that game, the Indiana Notre Dame game, that does intrigue me because what can they do? Can they produce?
I'm such a giant Indiana fan right now.
And it's going to be the standalone on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. It's going to be cold, and it's in Indiana.
What day is that one on?
Indiana versus Notre
20th?
Dame. Yep.
Yeah, you could be looking at snow.
Yeah, well, look at all of these games with the exception of Texas Clemson. You have Ohio State is playing Tennessee in Columbus, Ohio in a night game, okay, on December 21st. Yep, snow could be in the forecast there. SMU goes to Beaver Stadium to take on Penn State in a big noon kick in December 21st. Yep, could see some snow there as well. 3 of the 4 games, you very well could see snow, and I'm here for all of it. I'm here for the elements playing a factor.
From the Weather Channel, the average weather in South Bend, Indiana on December 20th year to year can include lake effect snow and high winds with an average temperature of 23.3 degrees. It is going to suck and blow at the same time.
Yeah. In the SEC,
which is probably going to favor Notre Dame.
Is hosting one of those games, and that is Texas, because we have to remember Texas is SEC. Mm-hmm. They are hosting a game. Everybody is up in arms in SEC land, including Greg Byrne, the athletic director, over Alabama being left out, saying we're going to have to reassess our non-conference schedule. No, reassess losing to Vanderbilt in Oklahoma.
Yeah. It was not your non-conference schedule that cost you.
It's your conference schedule.
It was not South Florida, Western Kentucky, Mercer, and Wisconsin.
No.
That wasn't it.
No, it was getting beat by Vanderbilt, a team that lost to Georgia Southern.
If the goalposts do not end up in the river in Nashville, Tennessee,
you're fine.
Alabama is in the college football playoff.
And don't lose 24-3
Yep.
to Oklahoma.
To Oklahoma.
Honestly, they could have probably lost to Vandy, and if they'd just taken care of Oklahoma, they probably would have been fine.
No, they definitely would have been fine.
Huh.
Everybody was saying they're going to be in.
Yeah.
And the way that it shook out, and this is the thing, the SEC acting surprised about it. Ward Manuel signaled that all of this was going to happen on Saturday. He said it. He's the chair of the College Football Playoff Committee, and he said
They
it
noted
on game day.
These teams that are not playing cannot move up.
Yes, but you know what could happen?
They could go down.
Upset, and everybody was saying, well, that's Clemson beating SMU.
Mhm.
That happened. Why are you surprised? Don't be up in arms over it. And if you want to be mad that the ACC gets 2 teams in and carnage happened and the ACC gets 2 teams in, then don't lose 3 games.
Yeah.
That's it.
Look at Miami right now.
Yes.
Miami's got more of a reason to be over here balking than Alabama.
It's crazy to me because if you are really that up in arms and you're like, oh, well, their pathway is easier, then give up your $60 million, go play in the ACC.
There you go.
Go do it. Go join the Pac-12's looking for a team. Go join them.
Stop Scrooge McDuck diving into your money.
Yeah.
And grow up.
It's like this is what the Big 2,
Mhm.
that's what it is.
Mhm.
There's 2 major conferences. That means there's really good teams, and you're getting paid handsomely to be in those conferences. You can't complain that it's a tough road.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. Is the system flawed? A little bit when you look at the seeding, and that's where we should go next, because the seeding and the way that the game is being played, or the bracket is playing out, it's not the easiest path in the world, but if you want to be on top, you've got to go through good teams. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. All right, the pathway for the Oregon Ducks is getting widely criticized. We have seen not just local media, but national media as well have kind of hammered the College Football Playoff Committee going, hey, the Oregon Ducks are the number 1 seed in the country. They are undefeated, 13-0. What gives with their path being harder than a lot of other teams in the College Football Playoff? If you look at it, the Oregon Ducks will either play Ohio State or Tennessee in the Rose Bowl. Those are 2 really damn good teams.
And then the winner of Clemson, Texas against Arizona State.
Yeah.
Before ultimately having to take on the winner of the bracket that includes SMU, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Georgia, Boise State.
How about this one?
Georgia.
How about this one? You could have a potential rematch with Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then there's the possibility that they play the University of Texas in Dallas, Texas, in the Cotton Bowl.
Ooh.
And then
Where's
in
the
national title game, they could play Georgia in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, have they ever done that before? Dusty, have they ever done that before?
It went swimmingly the first time.
And people are going, wait a minute, what's up with the 1 seed? Look,
Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia, who have all spent time this year at number 1.
It is hard to win a national title, and being the 1 seed. I mean, there were people that were like, well, would it be better for Oregon to be the 5 seed in the path be easier that way? No. Playing in that first round, you don't want any business with that. That we talked about how cold those games are going to be. Mm-hmm. What happens in cold weather games? Injuries happen more frequently, okay? Even if you're hosting a game, in a December 21st game at Autzen Stadium would be a very cold
Probably
game.
38 degrees, cloudy, foggy, nasty.
On top of that, you're exposing your team to
more snaps.
70 to 100 snaps on each side of the ball against a really damn good team. Okay, I don't care if it's Clemson or SMU or Indiana, whoever it would have been. You don't want any business with that. Preparation. You get a bye week. Already, Oregon can be self-scouting today and then start preparations for 5 days apiece on Tennessee and Ohio State, your next opponent. Then you find out on the 21st who you're going to play, and you narrow that down, and you can dial in a game plan from December 22nd and get a head start on it in the 11 days leading up. Then you get from December 22nd all the way to January 1st having the advantage of rest, recovery, and dialing in your game plan. Being the number 1 seed, it's ridiculous that people are saying, it would have been easier to be the 5 seed. No, it wouldn't have been. Okay, you're going to have to play good teams if you're going to win a championship as well. That's the other thing in this. You've got to be.
If you want to go glass half full,
yeah.
They could also have a world where they face, Tennessee, Clemson, or Arizona State, and then a rematch with Boise State or SMU.
Yeah, I mean,
that's very unlikely, but as difficult as the path could get, it could also get a lot simpler if stuff goes weird.
The reality of it is, every team in college in this bracket, with the exception of Penn State, has an ugly loss. Or in Boise State. Penn State and Boise State are 2 teams where's their ugly loss?
Yeah, Boise State lost to Oregon by 1 score on the road.
Penn State
had a chance to win.
Penn State lost to Ohio State and Oregon, right?
Both by 1 scores and both in very different fashions.
I think Texas, they don't have. I mean, they lost by double digits at home to Georgia. Okay, I mean 30-15 earlier in the year
in a game that was very drastically different between 2 halves.
Outside of that, everybody has stubbed their toe at some point in a way where people went, "Oh, what's going on there? How does that happen? What happened there?" In the reality, this world of college football, is the juggernauts are gone, right? And if you're Oregon, you have had a tight game against Wisconsin, a tight game against Boise State, and your defense, it faced some adversity against Penn State in the Big Ten championship game. They are 13-0 right now, and no matter the path, it was going to be difficult. No matter how you slice it, there are teams that are happy to be in the playoff And that's also the funny thing about Alabama is like they just want to be a part of the party, right? Their expectations aren't that they win the national champ. They're just up in arms that they're not in the dance. There's teams that are happy with being there, and then there's teams with national title aspirations. And if you're going to be a team that wins a national title in a 12-team playoff, you're going to have to beat the good teams at some point. Now, do you want to go, hey, they should have gotten the easiest path? Absolutely. And we could talk about the flaws of the college football playoff format. Because right now, you look at it and you go, 4 automatic bids to conference champions that get buys? Are Boise State and Arizona 2 of the top 4 teams in college football?
No.
Maybe we should reevaluate that.
I think that we'll revisit this, if not next year, the year after. 5
conference champions getting into the college football playoff, all 4. Automatic bids.
Automatic bids. No issue with that.
It should be at
reseed.
That point, you go, all right, who are the top 4 teams in the country? And those 4 teams,
get the bye.
They get the bye.
And then from there, I think you do matchups. I do.
I think that takes away from the advantage of getting a bye. Like you're saying, so if the 12 seed Clemson beats the 5 seed Texas, then Oregon should play the 12 seed. At that point, because part of getting the bye is you get a leg up on your preparations for whichever
no.
team.
I'm talking about they not reseed after the first round. I'm talking about you get your automatic qualifiers for the conference champions. You get your top 4 who have the bye, but the remaining 8, I think you reseed the remaining 8 based on what you think gives the best path for 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
and I think you earn the bye and the simplest path.
Then you rank that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's how you should do it.
Okay. Yeah. Because there's people that think that it should be reseeded after each game.
No, that's too much. Because, like, to your point, it takes away from the prep, which is such a huge part of this.
And that then becomes a logistical nightmare.
Yes.
If you want to guarantee conference champions that don't get a bye a home game,
yes,
go ahead. I would be for that because there should be, if you're
that's how you keep the emphasis on the conference title game mattering, which boy did it matter this weekend.
Or you eliminate those conference championship games in general.
I don't like that.
Because right now, in the current system, it doesn't benefit anybody to play.
I mean,
it hurts a lot of teams to do that.
It helped Arizona State. It helped SMU.
Arizona State would have been the conference. They would have been number 1 in the conference anyways.
Well, and you know who
they were the highest ranked team in that conference, so they would have gotten in.
It helped
Clemson. It only helped Clemson. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. In the current format, it's ridiculous because they shouldn't get a bye.
Fair.
I mean, well, and who it hurts the most is, and this is the reason why they won't eliminate those conference championship games, is the sponsors, and then also just the, I realize the greater college football body now is not run by the NCAA anymore, but they're not going to want to give up that money. And that's why they will not ever give up those conference championship games.
We all agree we're not done with conference realignment, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what the result of conference realignment is going to lead to? The thing that people hated before, which are divisions, will be back. Because when the Big Ten gets to 20 teams, you are going to have 10 teams in a division, 10 teams in another division. Mm-hmm. Each one will play 9 conference games within their division. The winner of each division in a 9-game conference slate will play each other in a conference championship.
Will this finally force those other SEC teams to finally play 9 conference games?
At that point, probably.
And then they'll cry about, now we have to play a tougher schedule, and that's why, that's why we can't get in. That's why we're not doing as well.
Yeah, I love that. Look, the SEC's framing it's amazing. I mean, it's political in the way that they do it.
I mean, it's a takedown piece. It's goalpost moving, and not the ones out of Vanderbilt. Well, it's whatever they need it to be for convenience.
And they're essentially just going O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, but you know what? They are the best conference, and they have been the best conference. And at the top,
yes, still
at the top of their conference, they have amazing teams. So does the Big Ten, though.
Yeah.
But the framing of it, they're like, well, Indiana hasn't been a good team. They ignore Texas. Mm-hmm. And that is just very quiet.
It's very
Texas,
political. Yeah.
Texas has played don't have a win against a top 25 team. Nor does Indiana.
Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
No, but in that is it's masterful in the way that they do it. And look, let's not make a mistake here. What is happening in the SEC is they've got a multi-billion-dollar deal with ABC and ESPN, right? And guess what? That's where a lot of people get their information from. And so they have that mouthpiece, they get more exposure for it, and that's just the way of the world right now, right? Is it right? No, but you know what the committee said? We don't care. You have 3 losses, you're going to be at home. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And I don't think that, look, the people that are up in arms over Oregon having a tough path too, you're going to have a really tough path if you want to win a title.
Look,
and don't shy away from it.
It's the 12 best teams in the country.
Don't shy
quote
away.
Unquote.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
No, it's going to be real hard. And that's
the whole point.
That's fun.
That's what we want to watch.
That is really good for the world of college football. All right.
Coming up next, time for our worst day on the web, which, folks, we haven't talked about it at all. So it's time to tighten that tinfoil. We'll do that next here. But first, here's the big Kahuna of the Sports Center update.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Bengals at the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, 5:15 kick on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN+. Also, catch the Simpsons coverage of the game on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. The Bengals are 4.5-point favorites. Panthers rookie running back Jonathan Brooks re-tore his right ACL yesterday against the Eagles and will have surgery. It is the same ACL he tore 13 months ago while at Texas. Saints quarterback Derek Carr reportedly suffered a significant fracture in his non-throwing hand and is likely out for the season. ESPN reporting talks between UNC and Bill Belichick ongoing regarding their head coaching vacancy. A decision either way expected at some point this week. And after leading the Green Wave to the American Athletic Championship game in his first season in New Orleans and his name popping up for other coaching vacancies, Tulane and John Sumrall have agreed to a contract extension. After a loss last night in LA against the Lakers, the Blazers have dropped 8 of their last 10. NBA Cup quarterfinals Tuesday and Wednesday night. The Blazers now off until Friday. That's when they host the Spurs. Portland 8-16 on the season, the 3rd worst mark in the West and 7th worst in the league, just percentage points ahead of Philadelphia. And over on the Diamond, ESPN reporting the Dodgers and former Beeve outfielder Michael Conforto have agreed to a 1-year, $17 million deal after missing out on Juan Soto. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new long sleeve tee and hoodies in your favorite college colors. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
Make the
with Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Today's Worst Day on the Web doesn't come from the world of sports. It does come from the world of what in the hell's going on.
Dude, this story is nuts.
Unless you've been in a hole, you're undoubtedly familiar with the assassination of the CEO of a healthcare company that happened in Manhattan, New York.
Yep, Brad Thompson was his name.
Just a few days ago. Gunned down by to be blunt, an assassin who used a suppressor in the middle of the street as he was going into a board meeting for a company that, and this is not justification, facts, that has the highest overall profit margin and highest rejection rate of any of the healthcare companies in the country.
Yeah.
By a substantial margin.
Yeah, we talked about this last week when you were out and just how wild the story was that, I mean, it was something out of a movie.
It looked like a hit like out of the Bourne series.
And the crazy thing is that the way that this story is unfolding, it's getting even more like it's out of a movie.
Yes. And a young man named Luigi Mangione, 26 years old, is currently I don't want to make sure I get it right.
Also, just besmirching that surname of Mangione.
Right. I wonder if that was gonna cut you deep. He has been detained. I don't think he's been taken into custody. I don't think he has been charged.
They were calling him a person of interest earlier,
and he has been technically detained.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a 26-year-old man, originally from Towson, Maryland, and he is, by all intents and purposes, a highly intelligent individual who went to a $40,000 a year private high school in Pennsylvania. He
was a valedictorian.
Valedictorian in 2016. Went to Penn University, focusing on computer science.
2 degrees in engineering from Penn.
Yes, and founded a engineering and video game club that's now like the leading design club at Penn. Very smart, very articulate.
Brian Thompson was the CEO's name.
Individual. But he was arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Oof.
Look, man, is the McRib back?
I think it is coming back, at least if it's not yet.
I'm just saying. If you have not seen the video, which I would not invite anyone to watch the video, it's a snuff film. It is. But
yeah, he just walks up behind him and
cold, calculated, and it's somebody who very clearly rehearsed, practiced, because it was, while the grouping is not great, it was very procedural. It's the kind of thing, like, I come from a world where those things happen and it looked very normal. They found this guy at McDonald's with a firearm on him and a suppressor.
Which is crazy.
So this guy setting the table, this guy conducts this assassination, loops around multiple blocks, picks up an e-bike, goes into Central Park, changes clothes, all doing this while masked and covered up, but somehow goes 250 miles away, ends up at a McDonald's, is picked up on a feed and identified on a bus and a McDonald's, and he still has the firearm and suppressor on him?
Yeah, apparently he had 4 fake IDs during it. Like, it was, the information that's coming out, like, this really does sound like something out of a movie where
it sounds like a plant.
Where you hear, like, the well-educated kid who goes to the Ivy League and then ends up being recruited by the CIA, right? Like, it's something like that, but it's not. There's people that are, like, doing, of course, the internet digging, and this is the hard part about, like, when you're watching this unfold on Twitter, the worst place to do it, because some of the things that the reality is
people put anything out there.
Brian Thompson's the CEO of the healthcare company that company had the highest rejection rates, right? And we're hearing about what was written on, like, the bullets, right? Which was the
deny, depose,
denied, defend, depose.
That's right. Yeah.
We're on the bullet casings, right?
Very V for Vendetta.
This is like somebody died.
Yeah.
in cold-blooded
Yes.
on the streets.
Again, assassinated. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And there's people on the internet that are like making this guy out to be a hero. Like somebody was killed in cold blood.
Look,
like that needs to be remembered here. And so you have
this isn't Hitler or Mao. Like there's a line.
Yeah.
There's a line. Like, look, we were all lining up to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
Look, there's a line. There is one. You don't want to admit it, but there is.
There was fantasies and movies and TV show themes and stuff about going back in time to kill baby Hitler.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is like everybody was like propping this up like it was something that was great that happened. What happened was not great, right? But now you have the people that are going and they're just digging up stuff on the internet, finding like his book reviews of the Unabomber's memoir and how great it was. And
he also cited the Lorax.
Who in the world is like? First of all, we can't believe all of this stuff that's coming out because nobody knows, right? Like we have no idea. It's now you have people that are like thirst trapping him because he's got shirtless photos on the internet, and there's people saying, "Oh, how hot he is! Can't wait for Dave Franco to play him in the TV mini drop." Which he does.
He does look like Dave Franco.
He looks almost identical.
He looks
Dave
like
Franco.
he could be a Franco. There's no doubt about it.
He is a handsome man.
It's the bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, he's a handsome dude. Yeah. But
the pen pals he's gonna have in prison.
Smokes, dude! This story is crazy.
Did we not already have Zac Efron playing a serial killer too, or something?
Yeah, Ted Bundy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. God, I forgot about that.
Ted Bundy. He now has 139,500 followers on Twitter.
Don't follow him.
Yeah.
For everybody that's out there right now, just a quick reminder.
He's not going to update that Twitter anytime soon, by the way, people.
I don't know. Suge Knight's doing his in prison.
Golly.
You can have your thoughts.
I think
You can
Suge has
have
a
your
couple more
opinions.
resources.
I'm just saying, look, this got enough resources to get around and kill a multi-millionaire, billionaire,
fair enough,
CEO. Should kill people too. So, just saying. But again, this again, grand coming from me with my things that I've admitted on air. Even if you do side with this guy, don't do it publicly. It's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
Not only will it probably get you put on a list, it will get it'll get you disqualified from jobs. It will get you fired. It will look, if you want to do it and you know those ramifications are there, go with God. But we saw a writer in Philadelphia go after the Philadelphia 76ers over a Palestine comment. He's now working for a gambling startup magazine.
Oh.
Because he lost every opportunity and every job that he could have had. Like, again, if you want to stand up for what you believe in and say what you want to say, go with God. You are not free from repercussions or thoughts of your own processes, as it were. But this story is insane.
Dude.
This isn't even like a made-for-TV movie. This is going to be made into an insane movie.
It's crazy. And while we were talking, he gained another 1,000 followers on Twitter. This story is bonkers, dude.
That's so gross.
It is.
It's so gross.
The insane thing about this is that I don't talk about politics or world events all that much. We don't here, but this is all like as insane of a story as this is insane. Like there's a regime falling right now in Syria that we're all ignoring, and it might be like a trigger point for World War III, and we're all over here looking at the V for Vendetta Part 2 plot unraveling in northeastern United States.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man.
The hero worship of him is the part that I just don't understand.
It's crazy, man.
I don't get that. Like you can hate the healthcare system all you want, but a dude got murdered in cold blood
on film.
I don't know if Brian Thompson is a good person or a horrible person, but that is wild that people are celebrating his death like that.
It seems like a blind love for vigilantism.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Confirmation Vancouver text line. The McRib is indeed back.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why I went to McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's how I look at this and go.
McDonald's took Luigi down, man.
Huh? Like I get you're hopping bus to bus, but like.
Well, I mean, he's laying low because he's got to know that they were looking for him. And by the way, the reason why they got a clean picture of his face is because the lady working at the hostel said she was flirting with him and got him to lower his mask when he checked in. That's the only clean photo of the guy's face that they got, was because he was trying to get some
at the hostel.
That's one smart lady.
What? Think about whoa. All of the details that he did to make sure he was
brought down by the booty. Not the first, nor the last.
No, he won't be, man.
All right.
Golly.
Coming up next, we're pivoting back out to something significantly less serious, but I thought was really interesting and really fun. Following the Oregon Ducks win over Penn State, there was a moment totally separate, and I don't think they know each other said it, but Tez Johnson and Dan Lanning both had what was one of the cooler moments to come out of the game and about it, something that happened going into that fourth quarter. We'll get to that next year on Danny and Dusty, 10 of the Fan. Following the 45-37 win of the Oregon Ducks over the Penn State Nittany Lions in the Big Ten championship game, post-game festivities saw both Tez Johnson and Dan Lanning at the sports desk for the congratulatory post-game interview.
For the Big Ten Network.
The Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
Tez Johnson up first, and the audio that came out of this I thought was really interesting because a lot of times you'll get a player will say something, a coach will say something, and they might overlap about a conversation, but typically, unless you've discussed it, you sometimes will keep those private moments, or a coach will mention a private moment of like, this thing happened. Yeah. Like the player will mention a private moment that happened. Coaches don't often give those out free willing, as it were. It's more of a like, I'm going to let the player, if he wants to bring it up, he can. And, this is what you got from them coming out of the postgame.
I went up to Coach Lanning and said, I need your best 15 minutes here.
He came up to me at the beginning of the fourth quarter. He goes, I need your 15 best minutes right now.
Coach, it don't matter what you say to us. I just need your best.
Challenges me to be my best.
Just being able to have our coach's best with critical times like this, we go a long way.
I'm so proud of him and what he's done for our team. He certainly means a ton to us.
That's pretty damn cool, man.
Yep.
Going to your coach and not even having the audacity to do that, but the confidence and the comfort of, normally it's your coach. Third quarter going into the fourth quarter, come over, give you that chest pound. I need 15 minutes from you.
Yep.
I need this from you. No, it was Tez going to Dan Lanning. I need your best. I need you to get us where we need to go.
I think that the term gets abused and often goes over the top with the alpha culture.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it is.
Yes.
And that's kind of what Dan Lanning has bred at Oregon. Mm-hmm. He talks about, and we think of it in the people that abuse the term like being the alpha the most are the ones that use it as like a mask to kind of be an a-hole and to get away with saying and doing things whatever they want, right? But one thing that Lanning has done at Oregon, and he took this from Kirby Smart at Georgia, right? Where at Georgia they call them their school sessions, but at Oregon they call them get reals, right? Where we've heard Lanning talk about the connectedness of this team and what are you playing for? Who are you playing for? What is your why? We hear that all the time. And in kind of developing that alpha culture, when you learn the other guy's why, you are going to maximize everything you get out of them. And it's moments like this is what Dan Lanning is trying to get to, right? Because when a player comes up to a coach and he says, I need your best 15 minutes. I need everything out of you. Lanning is saying the same damn thing back to him, right? And they know that because what their why is, where they want to be and how they get to that point, there's a comfortability that you can get because you know what motivates that person, what wants to get that person to that level. And it is that alpha mentality of, I want to be the lead dog. I want to be the guy that I can say that to and I can maximize that out of.
Now, may I, perhaps I'm splitting hairs or misunderstanding the conversation here. I don't think it's necessarily an alpha thing because to me, an alpha thing is this is my thing and this is what I'm going to do it. And so when you have Dan Lanning and Tez going to each other and saying, hey, this is what I need from you. I need you to help do this, and I need you to help get everybody else connected into this to help us succeed, that to me does not seem like an alpha thing.
No, it is that you want to be the best. And you're going to get everything you can to be the best.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, perhaps I'm misinterpreting the point of it in the conversation, but yeah, I have a thing of alpha being like, this is my thing and this is what we're going to do and I make you guys do it my way.
That's their exact why.
Well, right. But the thing is, they're going to each other.
That is it right there. And that's where I'd said everything has been misconstrued to it's all about me. Like the alpha of a pack of wolves is the one that leads the rest of the group. Mm-hmm. It's the one that is actually not even out in front.
No.
They actually have the weakest is out in front.
Yeah, often the alpha, like if you're talking about like military command structures, your leader is not the one leading from the front. That's not what happens. In fact, when you're talking about like special operations elements, your leadership, number one, is back on base. Number
Well,
two,
because that's what gets generals killed and stuff.
Yeah, but number two, when your field leaders, they're not the first ones through the door because those are the guys that have to maintain focus and be away that you have to distance yourself from the bullets.
It is the culture that you're building.
Yes.
It's the alpha culture of we are going to be in front.
It's not the rah-rah stuff. It's not it's keeping things on the rails when you're in the moment.
And that, I mean, that's a bold thing you don't see very often. Ever you don't hear about it.
No, not like that.
Yeah.
Not a player going and challenging a coach, and I think challenging them the right way. The second I heard that quote, I was sitting at my PC doing some stuff on I think it was my Shade and Sharp article, and I heard that my ears perked up immediately, and I went, "Hold on, pause, rewind, play that again," because I heard Ted say it first, and I went, "Oh,
yep,
that's interesting." And then Lanning comes up, says the same thing, and I went, "Oh, okay, this is where I have given Lanning credit and why I say that there's something different about Oregon now. It's what he has brought to that team, to that school, to that program. And I'm not discrediting the other guys. He is different. He's different. He relates on a level that very, very, very few of these guys do right now.
Yep. And look,
it's symbiotic.
I think this also goes back to everybody that says Oregon can just go and buy players, buy recruiting. There's far more to it than just that, right? There is a personality match. There is a fit match stylistically and to level of play. Because Tez Johnson, I think we can all agree right now, outside of Dylan Gabriel, is the most important person on that Oregon football team. The way that he's played, the difference that he has made. Tez Johnson was a 3-star transfer. In the portal when he jumped in from Troy, he was a 3-star transfer recruit from Troy.
That football powerhouse.
That's
Troy.
not going and buying the best player from a small school. Mm-hmm. That is, one, you had a connection with Bo Nix, and two, that was a guy that they said we can maximize. And it's that fit. There is more than just going and saying, best player, we want him, we're going to get him.
What?
There is a lot of evaluation that has actually gone into building a roster that has taken a lot of money to create, and we can all acknowledge that. It's a lot more than, you can just go buy the roster and win.
He had 11 catches, and nobody else had more than 3.
Yep. He's pretty damn special, man.
Pretty decent.
Yeah. He's pretty special.
All right. You want to talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs have had blood sacrifices to win football games?
Holy smokes, yes, they have, and yes, I do.
All right, cool. We're going to go from talking about vigilante justice, full-on human sacrifice here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
on the Fan. Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Bengals at the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. 5:15 kick on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, and also a special Simpsons broadcast on Disney Plus. The Bengals are 4.5-point favorites. The Raiders still awaiting word on the severity of quarterback Aiden O'Connell's knee injury. Head coach Antonio Pierce says if he can't go, Desmond Ridder will get the start next Monday against his old team, the Falcons. Georgia has announced there is no timetable for return for quarterback Carson Beck after suffering an elbow injury in the SEC title game. Over in the association, after a loss last night in LA against the Lakers, the Blazers have dropped 8 of their last 10. NBA Cup quarterfinals Tuesday and Wednesday nights. The Blazers now off until Friday when they host the Spurs. Portland 8-16 on the season, the third worst record in the West and 7th worst in the league, just percentage points ahead of Philadelphia. Oregon men's basketball remaining at number 12 in the latest AP poll, despite falling yesterday to UCLA on a banked-in 3 in the final seconds from Dylan Andrews. Oregon started the season with 9 straight wins. And late last night, ESPN reporting the Mets and outfielder Juan Soto in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract. The deal includes an opt-out after 5 years and no deferred money. But if Soto decides to opt out, the team can void that by adding $4 million annually over the final 10 years, taking the total to $805 million. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Danny Meringue.
And then I went to this movie theater, and then I made a noise like this.
Dusty Hera.
Then this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other.
I'm beginning to like this kid, Mike.
This is Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Monday afternoon, whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this glorious, glorious Monday, wherever you may be. Wherever you may be, you are undoubtedly checking under your bed for boogeymen and voodoo dolls, and perhaps a human sacrifice, unless you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, in which you have definitely had some sort of bloodletting to allow the Chiefs to win, what was their 10th? 10th one-score game? It was 10th or 11th?
1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th.
10th.
Yep. They do have convincing wins, 28-18 over the Niners, 26-13 over the Saints, which feels like eons ago because those were in the beginning of October.
And they death marched themselves down, chewed the clock to 1 second before kicking a game winner that doinked off the upright.
This season has got to be the most rewarding and frustrating season of all time for like any fan base. I can't remember a team that has gone 12-1 to start the year, but it seems unsatisfying to its own fan base, because of the cringiness of play at times, the fact that you are white-knuckling it to the very end. It doesn't matter if it's a good team or a bad team.
See Panthers.
Well, yeah, and the Panthers are not playing bad lately. They really aren't. They've taken the Chiefs, the Bucks, and the Eagles down to the wire. 3 straight weeks. Unreal. And Xavier Legette drops that ball. They should have beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
Look,
it's crazy.
The Chiefs' last 3 games, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, otherwise known as horrid, pretty good.
Yep.
By a combined 7 points.
But you know what? They are 12-1. And that's like the only thing that matters right now. Is like they're finding ways that it's unique, it's different, it's teams shooting themselves in the foot. It is sheer luck where you're on your 3rd string kicker now and he doinks it off the upright and in. Like it really is beyond like, hey, they're just finding ways to win. They are getting damn lucky.
No,
Aiden O'Connell
it's
gets
witchcraft.
one snapped off of his shoulder because he wasn't paying attention, and they win that game. Like, this is
and that was not a deep kick either.
This is divine intervention that is happening right now with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's crazy to think of the way that they go out to a 2-score lead, and they were looking like they were in cruise control. It looked like Justin Herbert was in fits last night, and then all of a sudden, here come the Chargers, just wearing you down. Run the ball, get enough out of Herbert, and they take the lead, and you're going, okay, this might be it. No, that's not true. We know that's not it. And then they're like, oh, God, this is easy chip shot. Like, they got this. This is easy. Doink, in game. They're 12-1. And that's the terrifying part about this. They are going to be, not only did they win the AFC West with that, they're going to be the number 1 overall seed.
Because the Bills choked.
Yeah, they're going to be the number 1 overall seed. And that is making them so much more dangerous.
Do you buy them less?
No.
Because I do.
Because I'm sitting there and I'm going, it hasn't looked pretty. They've gone through so many injuries, and they're getting guys back, and they're just, whether it's finding a way or getting boldly lucky in getting these wins, I will not count out the Kansas City Chiefs ever.
I'm not counting them out. I'm
Ever.
100% not counting them out because Mahomes wasn't good. Their offense wasn't good. And again, the Chargers are a relatively good team.
Their offensive line is flawed in like winning crunch time. That's good. Like, you're not going to play the Panthers Raiders in the playoffs.
And
you can't do
my
this
point.
in back-to-back weeks. This is, and it's not just like, oh, they got lucky the last 2 weeks. They've been flirting with serious disaster for the entire season since early October when they had those blowout wins. This is, but this is who they are, is that they're going to win ugly. They're going to get lucky. And does the clock strike midnight? Yeah, it likely does in playoffs. History will tell us that's what happens. But they've won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Here's the thing about this.
And they got Patrick friggin' Mahomes.
That when I looked at their wins, okay, they beat Baltimore and Cincinnati. Those are the 2 best offenses they've played this year.
Mm-hmm.
In week 1 and week 2. Look at the offenses they've played since then. Falcons, Chargers, Saints, 49ers, Raiders, Bucks, Broncos, Bills. Huh, that's weird. The one good offense they have played in the last 10 weeks, they lost to.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this. Like, look, I am not taking away from them.
The Buccaneers offense is good.
Well, and that Saints offense was pretty torrid in the first handful
2
of
weeks.
weeks.
After
in the
that,
first handful of weeks.
It fell off, but they played them in week 5, and they fell off a cliff.
Now, was that a Bucks off? Yeah, that was the Buck offense without anybody.
Yes,
that was their
leading receivers in that game were Cade Otton, Sterling Shepard, and Trey Palmer. Again, they have not played an offense worth a damn.
Yeah,
in 10 weeks.
Yep. Well,
other than the Bills, and that is their one loss.
You play the schedule that's in front of you.
I am not holding that against them at all.
Well, see, I don't think that's fair, though, because I think you've got Tampa Bay in there.
No,
we just talked about.
Well, I'm just saying, yes, but that's an offense worth a damn. Even Denver.
They were
we
missing.
Just went over that.
They were missing
their
everyone.
top 2 receivers.
Yeah,
that was right after Godwin and Evans got hurt.
My apologies.
Yeah. I mean, and the Broncos are egregious. The Raiders are egregious.
Well, hold on. The Broncos are not egregious offensively.
No, I don't think so either.
They're not. I mean, they're just not. They aren't.
And I guess the one point that I'll make is that if this is a one-time a flash in the pan team that is coming out and winning, 10 straight 1-score games to do something, that's one thing. This Kansas City Chiefs team is not a flash in the pan coming out and winning 10 straight 1-score games. This is a team that goes out and they know how to win. And I think that is the main reason why they're coming out and winning 1-score games. It's not a luck thing. I don't think it's a thing where it's going to revert to the opposite of the mean. They win these games because that's who they are and they're that good of a team.
But they're also, the last handful of weeks, egregiously lucky.
The Bears have scored 2 less touchdowns in the season than the Broncos. That Broncos offense is not good.
Danny, that's fine. They're also putting up 40 spots on teams, and Bo Nix is playing efficiently with an offense that does not have electric weapons on the outside. They have one of the best offensive lines in all of football. They are not they're not this garbage offense.
No, I'm saying they're not a good offense.
It's a divisional team. They are a good offense.
They're not though. They're barely average, if average.
But they are a divisional team. Like, you can't just throw them out. It's not like we're talking about. It's
the same thing with the Raiders. They're god awful, but because it's a division opponent that somehow, some way plays the Chiefs straight up for 15 straight years.
I feel like at this point right now we cannot compare the Broncos and the Raiders as being similar.
No. In the division, you can. That's the stupid thing. Go look at history for the last 15
I think your Bronco hate
years.
is coming out right now.
No, your Ducks love is coming out. They're not a good offense. Their Denver defense is good. They have nobody. They have nobody.
Yeah, okay.
Who on that team is breaking the defense?
Nobody
for the Chiefs?
is comparing them to the Lions or
but that's my
the Ravens
point. They're
right
not
now.
They have not played anybody in 10 weeks other than the Bills.
But they do what good teams do, and they come out and they beat the teams that are in front of them. If they were not a good team,
not holding it against them.
If they were not a good team, at some point they would have dropped more of these games, and they have not.
Still bears out the point. But they've played no good offenses in the last 10 weeks, and they haven't beat anyone by more than a score.
Because their offense is in shambles right now. Like that.
And is that going to get better the deeper you get into the season?
No, but
that's my point. That's why I'm saying I'm losing trust in them.
But their defense is playing at a top 10 level in the league. I think they're 2, 4, 6, 7th in scoring in the NFL right now. Their defense is 6th in total yards allowed.
Yeah.
Defense translates. The offense, if their offensive line gets rectified in any way, they're going to be fine. And when you have 15, when you have 15 behind center, you're going to be in every damn game.
I don't disagree.
But that is exactly where they are. They have a defense that is a top 10 defense in the NFL right now, and that is undeniable. So it doesn't matter if you're playing the great teams, right?
Is it a top 10 defense because it's that great, or is it a top 10 defense because they have played nobody for 10 weeks?
They're taking teams and they're putting handcuffs on them. I mean, look at what teams are scoring on them. 17. Outlier with the Panthers, who scored 27 on them.
Mm-hmm. Who you guys both just said last segment are playing much better the last couple weeks.
14 points to the Denver Broncos. They gave up 30 to the Buffalo Bills,
who are the hottest team.
And they're playing really good football, right? They are. And that was a 30-21 game. And you go, all right, they were on the road. The injury bug bit them. They didn't have Isaiah Pacheco in that game, right? They have been putting handcuffs on teams defensively, and that can't be ignored, even though you are playing bad teams offensively, right? They are still doing a good job on that side of the field, and they're just finding ways to win these close games because their defense is keeping them in games while their offense is really struggling.
And
their offense is really struggling.
I don't disagree with any of that. But is that not different from the MO of the Chiefs of the past?
Yes.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Even though they're 12-1, you look at it again. I'm not mad that they haven't played anybody that's not good offensively. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just pointing out they have played nobody good offensively but the Bills for 10 weeks. And the one team that they lost to, the one team that put points up on them, was the Bills. It's like, if that's not jumping out at people, I don't know what to tell you. It's like that list, I don't think you could put together a schedule in the NFL where you have faced worse offenses through 13 weeks than that group.
I think what we have to...
It's not great.
I think what we have to remember here, though, is
and they've earned the right to have that because they are a back-to-back defending Super Bowl champion.
Is that right now we're talking about the NFL and not the college football playoff rankings. So your strength of schedule and who you beat and how much you beat them by doesn't matter. It's the wins that get you into the playoffs.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that's what these Kansas City Chiefs keep doing.
I'm not taking away any of that.
Winning against everybody.
Do you not trust them less?
No, I don't. I trust them. I trust them wholeheartedly.
From when?
From the last 2 Super Bowls. Are they this? That's my point. Is everybody's talking about them as like this team
I don't think people are, though. Because everybody is saying
they've lost one game. I trust them everybody because they keep winning every single close game. There's a reason why good teams win all those damn close games.
I don't think that people are talking about them anywhere near the same realm as we have in years past. In fact, everybody is mocking them for the close wins against bad teams. And I don't think that anybody is putting them up on a pedestal. It's just you're watching them with this eye like, when is the other shoe going to drop? And I think that's
where this whole thing kicked off.
But I don't
the other shoe is going to drop is what I think.
But I
now.
don't think that anybody is talking about them like we have the last 2 years. I mean,
no.
I'm just not ready to dethrone them yet.
I'm not dethroning them. I'm saying they don't look the same as they've looked in the past, and they look vulnerable.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, there's
Sweet
nothing.
Fancy Moses, I hope we get to an AFC championship with the Chiefs and Bills.
I do too.
And it's going to be in Arrowhead.
Oh God, not again.
Well, but at least,
at least both teams are cold weather teams.
But at least it's not a cold weather advantage.
It's not Miami going to Kansas City,
right? It's crazy. It's crazy. They have
knock them off in the second round. Be done with it.
And trust
get
me,
him out of here.
Just get him out of here.
And I am not the guy that likes to root for the team that's been winning it all. The I'm drawing a blank in my head. Sweet Fancy Moses, your Patriots, the
Tom Brady?
No, just the team that wins it all. All the time. Dynasty. Thank you. Wow, that was
really bad.
Yeah, I think I just had a brain fart. Big old stroke there. But like I'm not a guy that roots for the dynasty, but I still find the Kansas City Chiefs likable and somebody that I can root for.
All right.
I might be in the minority there.
We need to get Danny some Xanax here.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Maybe some melatonin.
Yeah, not happening. I'm all hopped up on steroids, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. All right, let's pivot back to some college football. We got some more to talk about.
I'm sorry for pushing your buttons that way.
No, it's perfect. Georgia, Texas.
Sure, yeah.
A little bit more love to Georgia, Texas.
I'm down for anything.
We got college football, and we're going to go over. Anyways, come up next year on Danny Dusty, the Fan. Another one of those big conference title games that came down to it. Texas and Georgia. The rematch. Everything on the line. A chance really to maybe vault into the number 1 seed if things went a different way. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah. But the
only
2
in
seed
the
was
SEC world.
the 2 seed was on the line no matter what.
Yeah.
And we all knew that heading into that game with the way that everything was going to play out is that the 2 seed was going to be the winner of the SEC. And you want to talk about a game of missed opportunities. That is how that game played out. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Like, it was missed opportunities abound for both Georgia and Texas. But I think if you're Texas, you've got the most bitter taste in your mouth because whether it was the inefficiencies and inaccuracies of Quinn Ewers, who did not play well, it was...
I will fight you on that. He played really well for a quarter and a half.
Yeah. Perfect. Agreed.
40% of the time, it works every time.
And outside the red zone.
And that was it. The missed opportunities.
God.
You've got to be a team that converts in the red zone. And
21 points they left on the board.
As the field got shorter, they got worse. And that's kind of been the story of what Texas has been doing the last handful of weeks, is that they have been on the struggle bus as they get into that red area. And to be a championship caliber team, you can't do it. I mean, that was a criticism that we had of Oregon for weeks, right? Is you've got to be better in the low red. Well, Oregon has been far better in the red zone as of late. Texas getting 6 points in that first half.
Inexcusable.
Mind-blowing. And I give Georgia's defense a ton of credit because they gave Sark fits and Quinn Ewers. But when you get down into the red zone, you've got to turn those into sixes against a Georgia team because that's what they want to do. They want to drag you into deep water, and they want to see if you can swim. And they couldn't. I mean, Texas doesn't score in the third quarter. Through 3 quarters of play, the Texas Longhorns, with Steve Sarkisian calling plays, had 6 points. 6 freaking points.
Had no business doing it. You get your first drive, you get explosive first play. You get explosive third play. You get explosive fourth play. And then you throw a boneheaded interception because your wide receiver doesn't work back to the ball.
Dude, they also dropped passes. That was like the story of championship weekend, too, is
my goodness,
really good receivers not being able to haul in the football. And I don't know what it is, but those Texas receivers all season long, they've been dropping a lot of Quinn Ewers passes. And it makes that thing look a lot prettier because there were a couple of them where you're like, that could have been walking.
Yeah.
You know, and you go to the Big Ten championship game. Tyler Warren had a couple. Trayshawn Holden probably scores on a slant where ball comes in and he's unable to haul it in. Like, drop passes were everywhere conference championship weekend, but Texas has got to just be kicking themselves with the way that game unfolded and the way that it played out, because in the second half too, you had a Georgia team playing with their backup quarterback. Gunnar Stockton comes in because Carson Beck is not going to be playing the rest of the season.
His right arm is toast.
And
toast.
They're getting second and third opinions on that, what is being diagnosed as a UCL injury.
Yeah, he couldn't move his arm. It's pinned to his side. And Gunnar Stockton might actually be dead.
Yeah, I think he's alive.
He was unconscious standing up.
I think he's probably alive.
Do you agree that
alive?
Well, yeah, he's alive.
Alive.
It was right to take the targeting off the table, wasn't it? I believe it was. Yeah. He was a runner.
Yeah,
it was just,
when you become a runner, but
it was just a vicious
also
hit.
It is hits up high and any hit to the head. They're going to go to targeting initially, as long as the points of targeting, the launching upward, the crown of the helmet.
I thought he came down and put his shoulder in.
As long as those aren't in play, yeah, I agree. You call the targeting, but take it off if it's shoulder.
I was glad to see they took it down.
Guys going low too. When guys are going down, what are you supposed to do?
Points change, and he didn't lunge at him. It was a form tackle. It's just when he went down and the way he went down, his helmet met shoulder pad at full impact.
Can I give officials credit for adjusting and adapting to that? Because before they were still ejecting guys, and I think it really in this year we've seen a lot more of those.
It's been better.
It's not a great rule, and I hate the fact
the
that
suspension
if it happens,
needs to go away.
where you get ejected, and if it's in the second half, you get ejected from that game and then have to miss the first half of next game.
It's very dumb.
That's ridiculous.
The Arizona State one we can talk about when we get to that. But this game, Georgia did not win. Texas gave it away. I will stand firmly on that hill. Texas found a way. I mean, that first half, that's the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game, because Georgia was not doing anything offensively that was remotely something they could go back to over and over again. Texas was chunking the living bejesus out of Harris for Georgia. Their game plan was bring me number 7. And they went after him with Bond. They went after him with Golden. They went after him with everyone, and they torched that man.
Also,
goodness gracious.
Like, Sark at halftime, his interview.
Oh, the Mopey interview?
Oh, they get called for holding too. Look, that game too,
Can't do that.
May have been at times over officiated, right? But was there holding on both sides? Yeah, there were. There were holding that was missed on Georgia.
11 flags is egregious.
But the amount of penalties that they got, it was jarring.
Yeah.
And I still don't think, though, that's the reason why you lost the game.
No, inability to convert in the red zone. Full period. That the 2 interceptions were just so bad. They were so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just, what are you doing, dude? But that's been the knock on Ewers. When he makes the mistake, he's better than Drew Aller, but he's prone to a lot of the same mistakes.
Yep. I will say that the holding penalties, too, that they got that Sark was upset about, those aren't the ones that really took a lot of points. There was that one in the second quarter, I think it was, where it knocked him back from like the 20 to 32.
The OPI hurt him on the second drive. The pick play. That one again.
But you know what? They're calling that a lot more now.
But also, he didn't sell it.
Yeah.
Like, all you had to do, like, the way that tight end got the release, he's gone.
Sloppy, brother.
He's gone. You don't need to plow. Like, you just need to little rub. Guys have got to be better. This in the NFL and college football. This has got to be a learned skill, like flopping in the NBA. If you're gonna do a pick play, you can't look at the guy.
Yeah.
You have to like look back at the quarterback and like look out the side of your face mask. You can't square the guy up.
Now, if we want to go full on conspiracy theorists, I do believe that the SEC was like, we're not going to have the new team win, and I could see that happening. But you had your chances and you blew it.
They should have won,
even with all the penalties.
They should have won this.
You had your chances. And you S the bed.
Yeah, I do.
I would love to go tinfoil hat theory, but we don't have enough time. We're up against it. I'm not even talking this conference. But
No. And when we come back, we will keep it going on college football. We've got Arizona State and Iowa State and some baseball news and a couple other things we'll get to wrap up the last bit of today's show. I'm Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan.
Half-point favorites. Panthers rookie running back Jonathan Brooks. He retore his right ACL yesterday against the Eagles. He'll have surgery. It's the same ACL he tore 13 months ago while at Texas. Georgia has announced there is no timetable for return for quarterback Carson Beck after suffering an elbow injury in the SEC title game. After a loss last night in LA against the Lakers, the Blazers, they've dropped 8 of their last 10. NBA Cup quarterfinals Tuesday and Wednesday nights. The Blazers now off until Friday when they host the Spurs, and ESPN reporting the Dodgers and former Beaver outfielder Michael Conforto have agreed to a 1-year, $17 million deal after missing out on Juan Soto. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Isaac Ropp here. Busiest time of the year, the holidays. Guessing a lot of you wish you didn't have to cook so much or plan so many meals. Enter Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Nowhere else in town will you find a group of trained chefs who on the daily prepare Portland's most delightful meats. Each year they bring in seasonal specials your family will love, and they'll help you plan, prep, and cook your feasts. See what's in the case right now at laurelhurstmarket.com. This is why we say Laurelhurst Market is more than just your friendly neighborhood steakhouse. laurelhurstmarket.com.
Have a special somebody on your shopping list that loves to golf? Then you'll love Red Tail Golf Center's annual store-wide holiday sale, where you'll save up to 50% off all the gifts for your golfer, including top-name clubs, balls, shoes, apparel, and much more, all under one roof and at the guaranteed lowest prices. Red Tail has 30 to 50% off a huge selection of golf gear from Callaway, Nike, TaylorMade, Cobra, and many more. Not sure what to buy? How about a gift card so your golfer can choose what they want? And to make you merrier, we'll even throw in a $10 bonus for every $100 in gift cards you purchase. Or trade in your old clubs and get a 50% bonus to spend like cash on anything at Red Tail. Gift cards, trade-ins, and up to 50% off store-wide, all at Red Tail's annual holiday sale, now through December 24th. Red Tail Golf Center, where we guarantee the lowest holiday prices. 1/2 mile from Washington Square on Shoals Ferry. Visit golfredtail.com for details or call 503-646-5166.
Ready to steer your career in a new direction? Join the TriMet team and help keep the Portland area moving. We have immediate openings for bus drivers, starting at over $29 an hour and a hiring bonus of $7,500. That's right, a $7,500 hiring bonus. We also provide great health benefits, a generous retirement plan, and now a monthly childcare subsidy. Learn more at trimet.org/drive. Again, that's trimet.org/drive.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's Enhanced Network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
This is Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080, The Fan.
Biggest deal in sports history, and it's in New York, but it's not with the New York Yankees. Juan Soto will go to the amazing Mets. Steve Cohen opens the pocketbook. 15 years, $765 million, ladies and gentlemen.
These always work out swimmingly for the team that signs a guy to a deal for that long, but not my money. I don't care.
Also, for everybody's like, oh, maybe this is going to make the Mets miss out maybe on Pete Alonso. No, it's not. It's Steve Cohen. He has more money than God.
Nick Turturro, who is, you know him from...
The actor?
Yeah. The Longest Yard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the small guy.
John Turturro's brother.
Is he? Oh, Brucey.
Brucey in Longest Yard, yeah.
Yes, John Turturro's brother.
Oh, yeah.
They do look
Who
alike.
is the Jesus from The Big Lebowski.
That would be who John Turturro is.
The butler from Mr. Deeds.
Mhm.
After
Correct.
you underestimate my sneakiness. Sneaky. Did you see his Twitter video he posted to Juan Soto?
Is he a huge Yankees fan?
Oh, boy. It was F you, Juan Soto. Don't you think we didn't notice that when the World Series ended, you turned that hat around backwards, get the F out of here, you go to the effing Mets across town? I mean,
Yeah, guess what?
All F-bombs.
Here's the thing. Not everybody wants to play for the Yankees once they get to the Yankees because they realize it's a pain.
My favorite part of this is Yankee fans that are just going ballistic over the fact that, an overspend, you're going to go take money to go play somewhere else. It's like, do you know which
Your roster
franchise
hasn't made it?
you are a fan of?
So this came out to, what was it, 15 and 265? Is that right?
765.
760. I'm sorry, 765.
Yeah.
It came
It's like
out that
$52 million a year.
Yes, it came out. The Yankees
just $500 million off.
The Yankees offered 16 and 760.
Yeah, which so the way it has
one
been
extra year,
framed,
but $5 million less.
$5 million more. 1 year less, $5 million more.
One year less, $5 million more.
Uh,
He didn't want to play for the Yankees.
That's what it came down to. And the way that is being framed by his agent is that everybody submitted their bids one last time. If you think it's any coincidence that the Mets had one less year with more money on it, just enough to put them over the top, you're out of your mind because they basically told him, here's the Yankees bid, beat it, and he's a Met. It was always going to be about the money with Soto, which that was very clear from the beginning, which I don't begrudge him one bit. But also, he said, just give me enough money so I can leave the Yankees.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be there. It's pretty clear he didn't want to. The second that series got over and we got interviewed, what did we say? He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
The only way the Yankees keep him is they pay $800 million. That was it.
Now the Yankees are going to have to rebuild. What will the Yankees ever do? What will the Yankees do?
That poor poverty-stricken franchise.
Do you see the Dodgers and they went and got Michael Conforto because they're like, all right, fine, I don't care. We'll go get Conforto. Go Bees.
We already have 3 MVPs.
Yeah,
we're good.
All right, we didn't get him.
And they went and got the pitcher last week.
Juan Soto going to the Mets.
I hope it works out.
Yeah.
Him, Lindor, Polar Bear. That's
now people are like, oh, they're going to get Pete. Yeah, they're going to get Pete Alonso, like you said. Steve Cohen has more money than God.
Yeah, it's not even close. He's worth like $20 billion. He's the Steve Ballmer of Major League Baseball. This is the thing that he does. He paid $300 million over last year to watch his pitchers go away.
I will tell you, and I said this, remember when I went to New York and we went to the Yankee game and we came back and I was like, I think they like Soto more than Judge.
Oh, he's more.
Now they absolutely hate him.
Oh, the Bronx cheer is going to come out of that. It's insane.
That.
It's going to be insane.
The Subway Series is going to get real nasty.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So
can't wait. Way to go, Juan Soto. Way to get paid. Way
Spice
to give us a little hot stove news. Way to infuriate the Yankee fans. And
it was good for everybody.
Maybe next year. And then the Ben Verlander, Justin Verlander's brother, he said Padres won the trade. Juan Soto and Trent Grisham go to the Yankees for Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Kyle Hagashoka. Then you have Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up a haul of prospects, and Juan Soto's gone now.
Mm-hmm. They went to a World Series, though.
But
they lost.
You know what's great about that? Are Yankees fans now happy with just going to World Series?
Nope.
If that's going to be their rebuttal, are they just happy to
be
go
there?
to the World Series now?
That feels like a big old Mr. Burns excellent moment.
That's a lose-lose response for Yankees fans.
So, which again, love it.
Yep.
All right, coming up next, we'll put a nice little bow on today's show, and boy, do we have a lot still for tomorrow because we didn't get to everything. But here coming up next year on Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan. show with a lot of things we didn't get to, and we'll get to tomorrow. We still have a truckload of NFL news. We'll find a way to work some Blazers in there. They have some time off. We have some things we can go over. There's a lot there.
Yeah, there is, and we got a Simpsons game tonight.
Yes, we have a Simpsons game tonight, and we can talk about, we know who's going to be on the Netflix crew on Christmas Day.
Oh.
It's going to be interesting how much money Netflix is going to hand out to everyone, and hopefully the stream is better than it was for Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
Doubt it.
I'm telling you right now, they screw that up, they are in trouble.
Yeah, you don't screw with the NFL.
You
don't screw.
You don't screw with the Swifties, and you don't screw with the NFL.
Also, we have our Heisman Trophy finalists. Are they only going to take 2?
Honestly, I had this conversation with somebody over the weekend. I think they should. I think they should only take 100.
I want to see Cam Skattebo.
Look, if they're gonna give,
I don't care.
If they're gonna
I
give
don't
a third,
care. I know it's not gonna happen.
No. If they're gonna give a third, he's the guy.
I don't care. It's not gonna happen.
He's
That's
not.
what I want to see.
He's not.
He is.
I know he's not.
He won't be. He won't be.
It'll be Cam Ward
or Dylan Gabriel. Either one of them. We'll see.
I think if they should give it to Cam, or not give it to Cam, he should be the third invite.
Really?
2,000 total yards. Number 14, or get the number one, or get a first round bye. Nobody's had the.
They didn't get a first round bye.
They're
not even in the playoff.
Cam Skattebo?
No, you said Cam Ward.
Oh, I'm sorry, Skattebo. My bad. Skattebo. No, not Cam Ward. Sorry, no, Skattebo.
Oh, okay.
No, Arizona State.
Yeah,
100%.
He thinks he should be.
Look,
his sign bout was great.
It was.
We got to talk Arizona State.
Yeah,
too.
we will. I wanted to give it the time that needs. That's why we didn't try to force it in today.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us today. Coming up next, you got 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's prime time, but that's a good souk right here on the Fan.
Bye.
I'll take the big one.
For many of us, guys, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, the crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling like your identity is lost altogether. Well, I've got good news. Hey, it's Souk. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. And get this, it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and the lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They may help you retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class physicians, it's not a maybe your hair is going to regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair is going to grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and they are the team that I personally recommend. For your free consultation and $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 503-832-HAIR. That's 503-832-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks with an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and